All right. So, welcome everyone. I'm going to go ahead and begin. My name is Monica Maruschek. I'm the founder and CEO of Nova Hypnosis. And today we're going to talk about to stay or not to stay, what to do next in your life or career. And the purpose of this webinar is not to answer that question right now, but to introduce you to some of the tools that I use on a regular basis with our clients that help them to get unstuck. So most of the time people come to us and they usually have a specific problem that they're focused on. So as a simplistic example, someone comes and they want help with overeating, or they want help with losing weight, or they want help with quitting smoking, some kind of habit or some kind of situation in their life that is causing them upset and concern, and they feel like, they just can't live like this anymore. They need to make a change, and they believe that they have certain blocks about why it is that they're continuing to do what they know consciously is harming them. And we always help people with what they're seeking help for. And we take it one step further, where we address the underlying issues, but not just through hypnosis, so to speak. And again, just for those of you that haven't heard me say this before, I define hypnosis as a state of meditation where we're harnessing that open-minded, open and receptive emotional state, and we're harnessing it for the purpose of achieving a certain outcome. So for example, if you're meditating and your mind is in that alpha state, you can do nothing with it and just allow yourself to feel relaxed and a sense of well-being. Or you can harness that state of flow, which is what it is. Harness that state of flow for the purpose of achieving an outcome like changing a habit, having a breakthrough, things like that. So hypnosis is basically meditation that is being combined with coaching, right? So suggestions, ideas, insights, and you're combining these two things and you're getting hypnosis. We're in hypnosis all the time. Anytime you're reading a good book, watching a good movie, watching a excellent speaker give a presentation or say something insightful, you're in hypnosis. If you're daydreaming while you're behind the wheel of your car and you don't remember how in the heck you got home, when you don't remember taking the exit, you were in a state of self-induced hypnosis. So we're in hypnosis all the time, but for whatever reason, that word gives some people pause. Back to my point, we help people with the habit that they're trying to change, the habit that they're trying to break, and we take it one step further by using the tools that I'm about to introduce you to today. So I'm going to share my screen. So here we have to stay or not to stay. I'm not much of a PowerPoint person. I just do enough PowerPoint to kind of orient you and get you your mind focused on what it is that we're talking about. So again, people come to us when they feel stuck. It's usually for a specific issue, but at the end of the day, they feel stuck. They feel like they can't make progress on their own. So typically, they'll feel confused about what to do next. What's the strategy that they should adopt, or what's the action steps that they should take, or who should they seek counsel from? And in this moment now, the reason I'm doing this webinar now is because a lot of people feel confused and stuck about where the world is going. We've got the news saying that we're going to reopen. Some states are going to reopen as early as, actually already Florida has reopened its beaches. Others are saying that the federal government is going to extend and its COVID-19 social distancing guidelines into early summer, which means July. You've got California saying that today was its deadliest day on record. And you've got other states, other cities saying that they've turned the corner. So a lot of us have no idea what the heck the future holds, and we're confused about what to do next. I have one client who is in a challenging relationship, and she, the stress of being home all the time with her partner is really causing her to rethink, the relationship And what was once tolerable because of, you know, intimacy distancing through being at work, so to speak, now that they're together all the time, it's a whole nother story. I have another client who's unhappy with her situation at work. And while right now it's tolerable because everyone is working from home, when things change and we potentially go back to work in the office, she's not sure that she wants to go back. She's not sure she wants that kind of life again. And the question is, are we even going to go back to work? Are we even going to go back to school? Apparently, colleges have had a hard time enrolling students for the fall semester. And a lot of colleges are hedging their bets in some ways and saying, maybe we'll just do all online coursework so that we're not in this, herky-jerky lack of a decision state, the state of uncertainty. And that's what we're all going to be subjected to if we don't begin to make decisions on our own. So the tools I'm going to introduce you today are going to be tools that you can use to start making your own decisions, where you can say, you know what, I don't care what my boss decides. I don't care what the state government decides. I don't care what the federal government decides. I'm taking my life into my own hands. I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to lead myself because nobody else is giving me any direction. Everyone else is confusing me, actually. And I'm going to do the things that I know for sure are going to set me up for success in some capacity, right? So you don't know what the future holds, but you can discover things about yourself in this moment in time, in this almost like we're in a vacuum right now. You can discover things about yourself. You can take your own mental and emotional inventory and then begin to make decisions that are aligned with who you really are, as opposed to waiting and staying in limbo to see what the governments or the corporations or the banks or whatever decide to do with our future. And so the future might feel like a mystery for many of us, even myself included, but that doesn't mean you don't take action. That doesn't mean you remain in a stuck state. It means that you start from scratch. And to start from scratch doesn't mean that you've wasted anything or you've lost anything. It really just means you take an inventory of where you are right now. Because if you feel like you're in a fog, if you feel like you can't see but 1 foot in front of your face or all around you, if you feel like you're looking down, you can kind of see the road, but all around you is this milky, foggy layer, and you can't tell if you go left, is it good? If you go right, is it good? If you go, which way is forward, which way is back? You have no idea. And this is the state of a lot of people right now. You're going to fall into a very unresourceful emotional state very quickly, where maybe for now you have hope, but if you stay in this fog, you'll begin to feel things like depression, anxiety, panic, things like that. So taking action now will forestall those highly unresourceful emotions, bad emotions, if you will, because you're beginning to take action. And any little progress is going to feel good right now. Any little headway that you're making is going to feel good right now. And so by taking these actions, it'll help you to see opportunities where maybe right now all you see are dead ends, false starts, things like that. But doing these exercises either on your own or with a buddy or with me later on or whatever, you will begin to make progress and you'll get unstuck one way or another. But just remember, first and foremost, take a deep breath, because you're not alone. You're absolutely not alone in this. I feel this way in many regards. Other people I know and care about deeply feel this way, and certainly all my clients feel this way, each one with their own issues, right? One person has a relationship issue, one person has a business issue, one person has a kid issue, one person has a spouse issue. It runs the gamut, and you are absolutely not alone. Please, instead of opening another bottle of wine or instead of opening another carton of ice cream or box of cookies. Do these exercises as well as other ideas, other techniques like meditation, of course, things like that. But this will give you clarity that meditation alone will not give you. So the 4 factors that we're going to consider tonight are the following. First, I'm going to show you how to assess where you are in your life. Because when you're unhappy, there's only one specific reason that you're unhappy. And it's only one. And it's, the one here at the top. There are many other things all down below it, but there's only one reason that you're unhappy. So if you're unhappy or you feel stuck, there's one reason, and we're going to find out what that is. Then I'm going to show you how to identify your values. And we're going to talk about 2 different kinds of values. One set of values are the values that give you pleasure, emotions that you want more of in your life. And the other set of values cause you pain, emotions that create suffering and put you in a suffering state. I'm going to show you how to identify those values, how to rank them, how to prioritize them. And then you can do that for yourself on your own, and you can do it for someone else who you love and care for. Then you need to shake up your belief systems. And I'm going to show you, teach you how to change your own belief system. Okay. It's not magic, but it is a process, and you have to follow the process. And if you follow the process, you will shake up your own belief systems, which, right now, many of us don't realize this, but the world will never be the same again after this. And I'm not saying it because I'm some futurist, I don't have a PhD in futurism or anything like that, but I can tell you that I see it all around me. And human nature is what it is. There's always going to be a resistance to change in people. This is a fact. There was a resistance to change, to going all online for years and years and years. It was always about face-to-face, face-to-face. While things will, shift a little bit back in that direction, there will be enough inertia, enough resistance to change that people will not want to go back to the office the way they once did. Just as a simple, obvious example. And so what are your belief systems around any number of things that might now not be aligned with the new world order? Because that's what's going to happen. Just like World War II created a new world order in 1945, the end of World War II created a new world order. And we had this shiny new American economy, and we had this shiny new set of, people and power and all this stuff. After this whole thing pans out, and many highly educated people smarter than me are predicting that this is going to last years, not months, that this is a depression, not a recession, meaning the economy is going to be flat or contracting for a few years, not just a few months. When this all blows over and we come out of it, wiser, stronger, what is the world going to look like, and what of your belief systems are going to need to change? So I'll teach you how to shake up your own belief systems. And finally, I'm going to introduce you to the 6 human needs, which are born from the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. And they take into account the factors that all people prioritize in their life, but different people prioritize them differently, and how we prioritize them dictates the choices that we make. And most people are not aware of this. We'll do that all in 1 hour. So that's the end of my slideshow. So I'm going to do some drawing. So to assess, here we go. To assess where you are today, not yesterday, not next year, in your life, do the following. So I'm going to draw a circle here. And you can do the same for yourself. And this is a common tool that coaches use. I use it myself. And then you're going to divide this circle, like a pizza, into 8 pieces. Here at the top, we're going to write the different categories of one's life. You can think of categories like buckets. Each one of us has, depending on how you want to organize them, between 6 and 8 buckets in our lives of areas that are really have a really big impact on our level of happiness. So physical, right here, this is the first bucket, kind of easy to identify whether we are where we want to be physically or not, usually. Intimate relationship, that's this one right here. Doesn't really matter what order you put them in. This is just the order I'm putting them in. Career, right? So some kind of professional satisfaction, professional pursuit. Doesn't have to be a traditional career like corporate job or business or something like that. It can as easily just be, are you living your purpose in life? Are you growing as a person in what you perceive to be your profession, right? Even if it's not a traditional profession or career. Then here we've got emotional state. How are you emotionally? Are you the way you think you should be emotionally? Mentally, are you growing? Are you advancing yourself mentally? Are you doing the things that you want to be doing to stimulate yourself mentally? Here you can, I'm going to call this community. Your sense of community, friends, friendships, connection with people that are not your intimate partner or your family. How is that going? Here we've got family. And family is your distant family, your nuclear family, your friends that might as well be family, but like your very, very close relationships that feel like family. And then finally, finances. And finances doesn't mean are you rich or are you poor? It just means, is where you are financially where you think that you should be based on your blueprint. So that brings me down here. I'm going to change colors on you. So we are happy, right? This is the formula for happiness. And I learned this from Tony Robbins. And yes, I do learn a lot of things from him. I think he's got really good, really simple ways of explaining things. So we are happy. Happiness is when our life conditions equal our blueprint. So if you look at the items above, if our physical body looks, feels, acts, works the way our blueprint for how it should be, work, look, act, feel should be, then we're happy about it, right? If someone if a woman, I'll just use myself as an example, if I believe that being 200 pounds is beautiful and is the way you want to be and I feel good at that weight and I like it and it matches my blueprint for the ideal physical form for me, then I am very happy. But if my ideal, my blueprint for myself, for my physical body and how it feels and how it looks and how it functions is 120 pounds, as a simplistic example, I'm going to be unhappy. And that goes for everything. That goes for intimate relationship. If my intimate relationship is, in this moment, generally speaking, according to my blueprint for it, maybe my blueprint for my intimate relationship is completely different from the blueprint of my neighbor or from the blueprint of my friend. And it's about what I perceive as ideal, not what anyone else does. And the same goes for you. So when our life conditions equal our blueprint for that aspect of the life condition, we are a 10 out of 10 on the happiness meter, right? But if it doesn't equal our blueprint, then we're unhappy, right? And how unhappy we are depends on how far off from this ideal are we? So, as a simple example, I'm going to totally make this up because it's not any particular person. But let's just use this color. So, again, starting with physical, because physical is a very tangible thing. You can kind of measure, you can kind of quantify it. Let's just say that physically, I'm going to pretend I'm not at my ideal weight. My body is in pain because I am not at my ideal weight. I have it's not working properly the way I want it to in terms of flexibility, mobility, all these things. So, I'm not in the hospital or anything, but I'm going to call myself a 4, right? So I'm going to draw the line here. So this is kind of like a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. It's approximate. It's my 4. It could be, your 4 could be different. Let's say my intimate relationship is comme ci, comme ça. It's not bad. It's not good. We fight. We're not as, romantic as we'd like to be. It's definitely not a 10, but it's better than a 4. So I'm just going to call it a 6. Right. So I'm going to put that there. Then I'm going to go over to my career. All right. Well, I feel like I'm advancing in my career. I feel like people respect me in my job. I feel like I'm living my purpose. I'm living, working according to my strengths, not against them. So, probably my career is pretty good. So I'm going to call this a 7. Let me put that there. Emotionally, I meditate. And some people would call this emotionally. You can also call it spiritually. You could combine them, or you could combine emotional and mental and put spiritual separate. It's up to you. It's whatever's most important to you. But spiritually and emotionally, I'm going to call those together for me. And I'm going to say, no, I'm pretty darn good. I'm emotionally balanced. I'm not on antidepressants. I'm generally wake up happy to be alive. So that's like an 8. Call that right here. And it doesn't have to keep increasing, like mine is increasing in this made up example. It could, go, well, mentally, I'm not where I want to be. Like again, making this up, I don't have my degree. I don't know when I'll be able to get my degree. I'm not stimulating myself mentally because I'm not prioritizing it right now. I'm focused too much on my career or whatever the case may be. So that's a 4, right? So we're back down here. And you know what? I spend so much time at work that I don't have any friends. I don't get out in the community. I don't know my neighbors. I don't have a social life. So, man, that's actually like a 2 or 1. I'm going to call that a 1. That's F. But I call my mom every day, and I really love her, and she loves me, and we communicate all the time. I get along with my brothers and sisters, so on and so forth. That's actually kind of a 10. I mean, my family and I, whew, man, we are tight. Maybe that's why I don't have a social life. I don't know. And then finally, finances. So finances are pretty much in the toilet right now for me. Savings is not there. Retirement is really questionable. So this is down here in the 1 section. Even though career is good, savings wise and stuff, it's not. So I'm just going to quickly, do this, and you can do this for yourself as well. Color this in now, right? So I do this with every client, either at the initial assessment or on the first appointment, because I want to know what is the baseline that I'm working with here. Is this person that's in my office smoking because it's just a habit? Like it's just this cool person thing. They just like to smoke because it's, what they've decided is a cool factor? Or are they smoking because they're lonely? And smoking is this false friend that has enchanted them into believing that by smoking they're not alone. Are they eating because their intimate relationship is poor? Are they eating because they're so stressed out and their mental and emotional state is in fight or flight constantly because their mental and emotional states are a 1 or a 2. But just look at this for a second. If this was a wheel, right? So this outer circle is clearly a wheel. But if this inner purple section is a wheel, could this person drive on this wheel? If this wheel was a wheel for your life, how fast would your life be going right now? It would be completely stalled. There's no way. This actually looks like a boot, the kind of boot you would have on your car if you parked illegally. Definitely you're not going anywhere, and you're not going anywhere fast. So this assessment is one of the greatest tools to just get an idea of where are you in your life right now. What is the state of affairs in these 8 buckets, or even 9 buckets if you want to make another slice of pie here. But the bottom line is that when your life conditions don't match your blueprint, you're unhappy. And this goes for everybody. Anybody who is happy, who's truly, genuinely happy in their heart and soul, either has life conditions that match their blueprint, or they've changed their blueprint to match their life conditions. Those are the only 2 options. So if you're in a relationship that is leaving you less than fulfilled, then you either need to change the conditions of the relationship, or you need to change your blueprint about that relationship and what a relationship is to you. Your physical body, same thing. You either have to change the activities that contribute to the appearance and functioning of your physical body, or you have to change your blueprint about what your physical body needs to look like and needs to be like. Okay, won't belabor the point, you get it. Okay, moving on. Next is values. Okay, so back to my little black pen. So values, you can think of values equal emotions, right? So values, because everything we do in life, let's be clear, everything we do in life is to feel a certain way. We are in a relationship because we want to feel love. We have children because we want to feel connected. We want to feel, validated in some way. We want to feel purposeful because we're having a family. We want to feel connected with, God or children or people or whatever. So everything we do in life is to feel a certain way. We buy things to feel a certain way. We do good work because we want to feel a certain way, want to feel productive. We want to feel accepted by our colleagues. We seek a promotion because we want to feel respected. We save money because we want to feel security. We eat food because we want to feel comforted. We drink because we want to feel relaxed. I don't know. These are all examples, but we don't do anything in this world if it's not to achieve a certain emotion. And most of us are not aware of that. So we eat and we think that we just should eat. We don't realize that the act of eating gives us a certain emotion. So all values are as emotions, and there are 2 kinds of emotions. There are emotions that bring us pleasure, right? Happy. And there are emotions that bring us pain, sad. So in life, we're always trying to do one thing, not one thing, 2 things, but it's one action. Everything we do is to bring us closer to pleasure and bring more pleasure into our lives, or it's to move us away from pain and have less pain in our life, right? So everything we do is to have more pleasure or to have less pain. Everything. Getting a job, telling the truth, telling a lie, eating ice cream, eating carrots. It's either bringing us towards pleasure or away from pain. Those are, sometimes we go towards pain, and that's not ideal. That's a whole nother webinar. But For today's exercise on values, we're going to talk about two sets of values. Values that bring us towards pleasure and values that bring us away from pain. Okay. And so I leave it up to you. I'm not going to give you a list. I'm not going to tell you to choose from a laundry list of words. But as an example, just as an example, and you have to pick 20, okay? And everyone balks and they're like, what, 20? No way. But no, sometimes the most important values are the ones you think of at the end, okay? Some of the most important, most meaningful, most like deeply ingrained values are the ones that you think of last. So definitely do at least, at least 20. So towards values are usually really nice emotions, right? Like throwing them out there, like love, joy, peace, security, vitality, strength, hope, happiness, right? Now, let me be clear. You could say any one of these is, these are all great. And you can say, oh, those are great. That's my towards values. No. Think of your life and think of the choices that you make. And when you're thinking of those choices, begin to notice what are the values, the emotions that you're actively pursuing. So I'll give you my example, an example for me. I actively pursue things like adventure. I actively pursue emotions like excitement. I actively pursue emotions like patience, right? Like these are the things that when I meditate, I'm trying to, create more patience in my life, right? When I make New Year's resolutions, it's, to experience more of those specific emotions. So your list should be unique to you. It's not my list, it's your list. But these are just kind of an example to get you going. And once you have 20, what I want you to do is to circle the 10 that you cannot live without. Okay, so I hope you're taking some notes. Circle the 10 that you cannot live without, meaning that you will spend your time trying to have these values in your life above all others. So yes, you still want joy, and you still want peace in your life, but those joy and peace just don't make the top 10. It doesn't mean you don't want them, but you're not actively pursuing them. So let me just make sure that I have 20 for the sake of showing you how to do this exercise. And what you'll notice also is that sometimes these might be the same, like two of the same. So adventure and excitement, like they're almost the same, just something to be aware of. So I've got 12. I'm going to go ahead and identify, write down 7 more here. So let's see. Fun. I don't know. Respect. I'm totally bringing up values that have no relation to one another. Achievement. Connectedness. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Mercy, that's an emotion. A feeling of mercy. A feeling of victory, that's definitely emotion. Let's see, one more. I'm just trying to pull things out of thin air, so I'm not connecting with anything inside myself. let's see, um, resolve. There we go. Great. All right. So here is a list of 20. And then I'm going to go, okay, so I can't live without hope. I can't live without love. I can't live without a sense of fun and a sense of achievement. And, patience is still really important to me. I need security in my life. Let's see, happiness is very important to me also. So what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 3 more. I love adventure. Adventure is the best. And this feeling of connectedness when I travel is amazing. And then let's see, vitality. You know what? When I'm feeling energized and vital, then it just everything is amazing. So you're going to take more care and caution and kind of think about it than I just did, but for the sake of time, I'm rushing through it. So you have your list of 10. Now you're going to go through and you're going to say, okay, if I can only have one, if I can only choose one value and I have to pick between these two, love and security, which one would I pick? And you'll be surprised, but people will say, oh, that's easy. And then you kind of go, ooh, God, when I think about it that way, I don't know. So love and security. Well, ah, God, I would think it's love, but I think if I had to pick between love and security, I would pick security. Ooh, wow, okay. Um, okay, security and vitality. If I had to pick one, well, I don't know. You're nothing without your health, but if you don't have security, what's health, right? So I don't know. I think it might still be security. Okay. You might surprise yourself. Okay, security and hope. If I had to pick between security and hope, which one would it be? Well, if you don't have hope, then security doesn't really matter, does it? Like hope is everything. Like that's what makes you get up in the morning. So I guess it's hope. Okay, hope or happiness? I mean, hope. I think hope is it. Well, go through the whole list. Even if you think like, oh my God, hope is it. Go through the whole list. Hope or adventure? Hope. Hope or patience? Yeah, hope. Okay, hope or fun? Yeah, hope. Hope or achievement? Hope. Okay, yeah, hope. Hope or connectedness? Yep, hope, hope. Okay, so hope is number one. So you're going to put the number one right there. Then you're going to start back at security, right? Because security was the last winner. So you already did vitality. So now you're going to go, okay, so security or happiness? Which one would I pick, security or happiness? I think it's going to be security because if you don't have security, how can you be happy, right? All right, security or adventure? Security, security or patience, security or, again, you think you know, but just go through the whole list. Fun, okay. Security or achievement? Security, security or connect. Okay, good, security. Cross that off the list. Okay, so that's number 2. Now you're going to go back up to love, right? Because you compared love to security, but that was it. You now have to go love and vitality. So love and vitality, which would you pick, love or vitality? Whew, man, I mean, I thought that love was everything, but if you don't have your health, I mean, are you even going to be able to love someone fully and like in a real way? So I think vitality. Oh crap. Okay. But people normally, will always think, oh, love is number one. Love is probably somewhere in that list, but depends on how your mind works, depends on how you logically fit emotions into the framework of priorities for you. So you keep going down this list, and as you cross things off and you go through the whole list and you number them and you say, okay, so I went through the whole list. Now this one's number 3. Then I did love and I went through this whole list. So you know what? Love is number 4. So now I'm going to start with happiness, and I'm going to compare happiness to these. And you just basically go back to the last winner and you again compare the winner to all the subsequent emotions. And you're going to have a list that looks, something like, I'm making this up, right? This is 9, and then where's number 10? This is 10. Okay, so you have this list. So write them down. So write down your list here in, I'm going to do it in this little space here. So we've got hope. Again, this is a made up list. We've got security. We've got vitality. Okay, you get the point. So on and so forth, all the way down. Now the next step, final step, okay, I'm sure you're like, okay, thank God. The final step is the rules. What needs to be true for you to feel blank? What needs to be true for you to feel that emotion? So what needs to be true for you to feel security? Spell it out. Like, someone could say, I feel security anytime I take a deep, fresh breath of air. Whew, I know I'm alive, and being alive is good enough for me, and I feel secure. And you're like, okay, man, that guy's lucky. For other people, to feel security, they're like, I need to have a job that pays this much. I need to have this much money in the bank. And it's not, or it's and. I need to have a job, and I need to make this much money, and I need to have this type of retirement, and I need to have this type of relationship, and so there's like a whole list of things. So answer this question here for yourself for every single one of these values, these emotions. What needs to be true for me to feel love? What needs to be true for me to feel happiness? What needs to be true for me to feel hope? Are you someone that says, anytime I blah, 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 that's okay. Or you could say, this needs to be true, and this needs to be true, and this needs to be true, and this, and this, and this, etc. So write down all your rules for your top 10 values. So again, quick recap here. Identify the top 20 emotions that you are actively pursuing. You are actively seeking these out by the choices you make. Identify the top 10 in that list of 20 by circling them. Then compare them with one another. If you had to pick one, which would it be? And number them. Put them in a nice little list right here, not right here, but in your own piece of paper. And then identify what your rules are that allow you to feel that way. Okay? And after you're done with that, go take a walk around the block. It'll take you about 90 minutes. No, not that long. It'll take you about an hour to do all of this for your towards values, right? For the values that bring you pleasure. Then you're going to go to the values that you want to avoid, or I should say emotions you actively avoid. Okay? So everyone knows that hate is an emotion that we generally want to avoid. I would say most people want to avoid hate. But if you're not actively avoiding it, if hate is just something you don't feel because you just don't feel hate as a part of your DNA, don't put hate down on this list. Again, it's those emotions which you are actively avoiding. So I'll give you an example. Sometimes I struggle with jealousy, or at least I used to when I was younger. So jealousy is on my list of emotions that I actively want to avoid. For me, just giving you an example. But rage is not an emotion that I actively try to avoid. In fact, sometimes I welcome rage because the only time I feel rage is when things are so messed up that I need to feel rage to get myself out of that place I'm stuck in. So I don't mind rage. Rage can come and go through me. I use it. I don't let it use me. It's a tool, not a pain point. But jealousy uses me. I don't use it. So I actively try to avoid jealousy. I actively try to avoid the feeling of being controlled, right? So this is again my example. I don't know why I'm giving you my examples, but I am. I guess they're coming easier to me. But that control is not necessarily something other people actively avoid. So make your list. More examples might be like anxiety, right? Fear, sadness, worry, abandonment, um, um, uncertainty. Let's see. Uncertainty, um, confusion, right? Confusion. Um, mm, I had a client who said messiness. Actually, a couple clients that said they don't like to feel messy. Me, I don't care. Messiness has never bothered me, but I have two clients that have said feeling messy bothers them, right? And so on and so forth. So again, you're looking to identify 20 of these away values. Again, do all 20, don't skimp, do all 20 because some of the most important ones are going to be the ones that you identify at the very end. You're going to identify next, you're going to circle your top 10, and then you're going to order them. And the question you're going to ask yourself, and this is a little bit difficult, but the question you're going to ask yourself is, if I had to avoid only one, which one do I want to avoid most? So I shouldn't say if I had to, if I could only avoid one, if I could only avoid one, which one do I want to avoid most? Ask it that way, okay? If I could only avoid one, which one do I want to avoid most? If you ask the question any other way, you're going to get yourself completely confused and you're going to be like, what? I don't want that more. What? It's this kind of counterintuitive, like scratching your head like this kind of way. So this is the best way to phrase it, according to my experience. And again, what you're looking for is this, this is your top most avoided, and then all the way to 10, which is your, least of the top 10 that you want to avoid. Okay. And then identify your rules, right? So when do I feel blank? When do I feel jealous? I feel jealous when do I feel anxiety? I feel anxious when, and the goal at the end, and we're not going to do this right now, but the goal is to, after we identify the rules for the towards values and after we identify the rules for the away values, we want to make the away values as difficult as possible to experience. And we want to make the towards values as easy as possible to experience, right? So towards, we want easy rules. We want to make it as easy as possible to feel good, right? So don't make, we're going to rewrite those rules down the road so that you can feel good as much as humanly possible. And your away values, we're going to rewrite those rules to make that really hard. It's like all the stars in the universe would have to align all at the same time for you to feel that negative emotion that you want to avoid, that you identified up here in this list here. So take it one step at a time. We're actually going to stop here because if I keep going, your brain is going to turn into a pretzel. And we're going to continue this webinar next week, and we're going to cover beliefs and we're going to cover needs next week, okay? But you're going to identify, let's go back to the top here. You're going to assess where you are today in your life. You're going to draw this wheel of life, and you're going to identify what is the blueprint for the ideal blank, and then evaluate your life conditions in relation to this blueprint that you've established for yourself. Then you're going to identify your towards values, 20 of them. You're going to circle the 10 that you cannot live without, the ones that you want in your life above all else. You're going to order them and prioritize them. And you're going to write down the rules for what needs to be true for you to feel that. And again, we're eventually going to rewrite them, the rules, so that they're very easy for you to feel good. Then the away values, you're probably going to be tired by the time you do the away values. Plus, the away values will naturally exhaust people because these are things we don't want to think about, right? They're like thinking about your spoilers or your weaknesses. You're like, oh, I don't want to, oh, do I really have to do this? Yes, because avoiding these things is going to be why you make certain choices, why you choose to go out with your spouse, or why you choose to stay home, why you choose to ride your bike, or why you choose to stay home, why you choose to work extra late, or why you choose to spend time with your family. Like these away values, most people actually will work harder to avoid their away values even more than they will work to experience their positive towards values, because human beings are always trying to avoid pain over experiencing pleasure. Losing something is worse, makes you feel worse than the excitement of gaining something. That's why salespeople are always telling you, don't lose out, hurry, don't miss this sale, because they're appealing to your survival brain and trying to activate that little part of you that doesn't want to miss out and doesn't want to lose out. But it's exhausting. So that's why you're going to be exhausted doing this. So between your towards and your away values, do some jumping jacks or some push-ups or something and get your blood flowing. Identify your top 10 values, emotions that you want to avoid, and then ask yourself, if I could only avoid one of these, which one do I want to avoid most? Again, don't make any assumptions. Don't assume that this must be it. Go and compare each one to the other. And when you've identified the top, label it, number one, and then go back to the previous winner. Go back to the previous winner that you haven't crossed out yet. Go back to the previous one and go compare it to the rest of the list. Okay, and then once you have your list of 10 in order, when do I feel that emotion? Because eventually the goal is to rewrite the rules so that the towards values are as easy as possible to feel and the away values are as hard as possible to feel. I'm going to stop here. It's time. It's already been an hour. Do this tonight. Or maybe just do the wheel of life tonight. And then with a fresh cup of coffee and an hour in front of you to spare tomorrow morning, do your values. And then next week, I'll teach you how to dismantle your belief system so that you can see the world through new eyes, through a new lens, and how to identify what are your needs, what are your human needs. And I'll include also next week the assessments that I think are really valuable and really important that you may want to take right now to see, what are some of your hidden talents, what are some of your hidden mental processes that you can leverage in work and in life when things, quote unquote, go back to the new normal. All right, so thank you so much for being with me tonight, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks.